Hi everyone, hope you're doing okay. At what is a really strange, odd point in history, isn't it? Really, um, it's for some it's been a really good time. People have talked about the Great Pause and about how we've been able to stop and reflect and consider and kind of take stock. And a lot of people would argue that that has actually been a really good thing and something that we needed to do. I know for some of us it's been challenging because there's been the pressure of work and then often work and looking after kids as well, and balancing things that we wouldn't normally have to balance. So we've all had to try to do things differently, and that can be really hard, can't it? Learning new things really quickly. I think for us as a family, it's been a mixture really. There have been times that have been absolutely wonderful, and we've really loved some of the things, some of the opportunities to do things that we wouldn't normally have. So it's almost freed up some of our schedule to focus on some really important things. We've spent some really lovely quality time together. We've been able to get out a bit more in our VW Volkswagen van, explore a little bit more. We've just been able to be a bit more spontaneous, which has been lovely. But then at the same time, there have been days when routine has been so out the window that it's been quite chaotic and really quite confusing. I personally have been trying to push into the Lord a little bit more, and kind of be more disciplined in my prayer and my worship life. I think it's fair to say that I have neglected, incorporating that regularly recently, and it's really been great to bring that back into my life. I just wanted to share with you a little bit this morning about the idea of being intentional with giving thanks. There's so much to be thankful for, isn't there? But I think at times, especially when we're going through difficult things and challenges, we can just almost like take a list to God, can't we? And I've been reading the Psalms a lot, and Psalm 136. I just want to share a little bit with that. A little bit of that with you. I'm not going to read the whole thing because it's quite a long psalm, but I'd really encourage you to read it. But it's basically just the whole psalm is just about giving God thanks and remembering what He's done, and remembering that the story we're in at the moment, this is part of the story, but sometimes going back and looking at the Bible and what God's already done can really help us to remember that we're just a small part of a bigger story. And although sometimes it feels like we're going through quite dark times, quite dark days where God isn't listening or isn't active, just thanking Him for what He already has done is I find really helpful and can be a great thing. So I'm just going to read a little bit of it from the Message translation, which I love. So Psalm 136 says this: "Thank God. He deserves your thanks. His love never quits. Thank the God of all gods. His love never quits. Thank the Lord of all lords. His love never quits. Thank the miracle-working God. His love never quits. The God whose skill formed the cosmos. His love never quits. The God who laid out earth on ocean foundations. His love never quits. The God who filled the skies with light. His love never quits. Moon and stars as guardians of the night. His love never quits. The God who struck down the Egyptian firstborn, His love never quits." And then it goes on to talk about all the great things God has done in the Bible. And the very last bit, I'll just read that to you as well. It says, "God remembered us when we were down. His love never quits. Rescued us from the trampling boot. His love never quits. Takes care of everyone in times of need. His love never quits. Thank God who did it all. His love never quits." recently, I found that at times where things seem to be going wrong and not kind of going the way we thought they would go, it's really, really important to remind ourselves of how constant God's love is for us, and remember that Jesus has chosen us. I felt that the Lord asked me to lay down a lot of the things that were part of my life earlier on in the year, and I felt like he asked me to sacrifice so much of what was almost given me identity, and that felt really hard and really costly at the time. But I can honestly say that my identity now feels so much more about him and not about what I was doing. And I want to encourage you this week on two things. One, to give thanks more, because we've always got things to give thanks for, especially during dark times. But also to go back to him, what he has done, what it says in the Bible, and who it says we are in him. Because actually our identity is in Jesus, and he tells us that we are loved, we are chosen, we are special, we are his. And it's just really helped me to almost like lay down things that I was doing, so I can go back to remembering who I am. And it's just been really wonderful. And actually, what's been so exciting, I'll just say this as well, just quickly before I go, is actually it's kind of helped me to remember about things that I have passions about, things I'm excited about, things I love, that have kind of been forgotten or buried in just the day-to-day life. So yeah, if you're at either of those points right now where you just are feeling down and you can't see things to be thankful for, I just really encourage you to push into thanking God for what he's already done. Perhaps read Psalm 136 if that helps. But also, if like me, you're at a point in your life where you feel like you just your identity is a little bit lost, just go back to him, go back to spending time with him, lay down things that have clouded your judgment, or just have some time just to really reconnect with him and find out who you are in him, and the other stuff, and the plans and the things he has for you, it just all fits into place. But there's something truly wonderful about plugging back into the source and spending time just with him. I really pray that you have a great rest of the week. Take care.